Oh, yeah, no sound. Whoops. There we go. All set. All right, so we're going to be looking at a MacBook Air that's beeping today. It is beeping. This is a dropped MacBook Air, and it goes beep, beep, beep. What a sad little MacBook. What a sad little MacBook. All right. So, if it is a solder ball, we can try reflowing the existing memory. Remember, the RAM is not constructed in the same way as a graphics chip or the older AMD CPUs or anything like that. If you reflow those, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. But this is not the same type of chip design, so it is indeed possible that it could be a solder ball. But highly unlikely, since that would make the job easier, and yeah, it's never easier. Speaking of jobs not being easy, my T5 screwdriver is missing. Let's find my T5 screwdriver.
I'm afraid when I look.
You okay?
Yeah, when I sick 2 weeks ago, I just now I have cattle. Or
Drink some water.
yeah, I drink.
You'll feel better. Drink some water. All right. Okay. I found my T5 screwdriver. Now we can take all this stuff out. After this, I'm going to preheat the board in the oven a little bit. And after preheating, we'll see if we can get the RAM going. Wow, that's a lot of pages in here. No Wix commercial. What the hell? I have to yell at them later. They're doing something wrong if they left out the commercial. Okay. How to does it take to send flux to the UK? I'm not sure how to answer that question. If you're asking how long does it take, the answer is I have no idea. Very slow. If you're international and you buy something, it will take forever. Can you sign the crest that I just ordered? I would love to, but it's shipping from a warehouse somewhere in New Jersey. So, not sure what to do with that. All of those crests ship directly from them. Oh, okay. Maybe this wasn't just a drop. I see a hint of something. Let's see if you see a hint of something. Are you going in direct competition with Linus with advertising Wix when he is sponsored by Squarespace? Oh, Team Wix, baby. Team Wix! Yeah. I like, on one hand, the ad is really annoying. On the other hand, I want to buy a house, and I just, like, something tells me the down payment on that house is going to be paid for by Wix. So I got to show Wix just like a tiny little bit of loyalty, just because they just, I have a feeling that that's not, like 90% of my YouTube revenue is Wix at this point. Because every time I'm not logged into my browser and I go to click a link or reply to a comment, I see a Wix ad, like every single time. I really feel like if they stopped advertising on YouTube, I would make no money off of YouTube. At least straight off of YouTube. Someone says you have a bad connection on your microphone. Huh. Someone says the mic sounds fine here. And that's why listening to chat is impossible. All right, let's move on to the board and let's look over the RAM. I just bought a 200 watt Weller soldering iron. Is a 16 millimeter tip okay? I have no idea. I don't measure my tips. Like, I know I have a T15 JSO2. I don't really know what I have no idea how millimeters or inches of it or anything like that. Okay, so as you can see, the claimed problem was that it was dropped. However, there is liquid right on the RAM. So it could be a cracked solder ball, or it could be a fucked up RAM. It could actually be one. It could be both. It could be. Isn't that awesome that there's two problems in one? And you see a little bit of schmutzy junk over here. Ugh, that doesn't look nice. All right, so we're gonna try something here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shove this in the oven for a minute or two. So we're going to have this in the oven for a little bit. And that's going to preheat the board. And then after that, we're going to go and heat up all of these RAM chips because the liquid may be under it. So if this liquid here could have gotten under the RAM, and it could be fucking it up. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 RAM chips. So we have 16 chips. This will be fun. That's
How bad did it look? Do you know? It was pretty nasty. It's fixable, but I mean, you already told him no fix, right?
Yeah, no, because he needs the cable and he needs other stuff. So
Yeah, man.
Have you ever gone to bed without being able to repair a board and woke up in the middle of this night saying, "Ha, I know what's going on"? I have, and I have actually come here at 4 o'clock in the morning to fix it before I lost the idea.
What was it?
It feels really good when you figure it out. It sucks when you didn't. One of them was C7771 actually. Yeah. Another one was clock chip. There was an SMC that was keeping the BIOS from going right because I had scrolled through the schematic and I saw that the BIOS also has a line to the SMC as well as to the CPU, but it didn't. But it came to me in a dream. Like I had to have scrolled through that because I know that I just can't get that information out of a dream. But yeah. All right, so we're gonna heat this for a little bit. It's gonna make it easier. If the board itself is entirely warm, it's going to make it that much easier to do the reflow. So we're just gonna preheat the board a little bit in the oven, and then we're gonna do the rest of the work with the iron. Why do you heat the PC board in the oven? Because I don't want to spend $300 in a preheater. I want to spend $20 on a Hamilton Beach toaster oven at Kmart. If the board is heated, here's the thing. Let's say the chip is going to melt at about 217 Celsius, right? If the board itself is 10 or 20 Celsius because it's in a cold room, then I'm going to have to use a higher temperature on the hot air station. So let's say I'm going to have this as a hotter temperature in order to bring the chip temperature up. Because as the chip's temperature is rising towards 217, the board, which is at a temperature of 10 or 20, is going to be absorbing or wicking the heat away from the chip, which means I have to use more heat on the chip, which means more likelihood of killing the chip. If I preheat the board around that area, then the board is going to be saturated with heat. So it's not going to be able to absorb the heat from my chip, so I can use less heat on the chip, which means less chance of killing it. Now, you may notice when I go to solder a component, I don't use the hot air like this immediately if it's a larger component. Even if it's just an LED driver and SMC, you may notice that I'm heating it from far away, and then a little bit closer, and then a little bit closer. And the reason that I'm doing this is so that I can make the board preheated before I go in and solder the chip, which allows me to use a lower temperature on the chip and lesser likelihood of killing it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, the reason I don't have a preheater is because I was afraid I was going to burn myself on it. I know I'm an idiot, so I know that if I have a preheater on my desk that's 300 or 400 degrees, what's going to happen is I'm going to keep going like this. Oh, let me look at what that is in the schematic. Ow! And I mean, I would wind up getting amputated by age 34 if I had a preheater. So no preheater for me. It's dangerous. I would have to wear a special suit over my arms that's burned. I would have to like cover myself in Captain tape.
Does that monitor work?
Kind of.
What does that mean?
1600 by 900 and it's like 10 hertz. It flickers all the time.
This is the HDMI.
My preheater is a space heater that we normally use for curing pain on cars. Curing pain? I would have to cure a lot of pain if I had a preheater. Let's see. How can you trust yourself with an oven then? Well, the oven has a door on it, and it's also not placed right over here. Like if there's something that heats up to the 300 or 400 Celsius right over here on my desk, over the board, I know I'm going to burn it. So Trump is president, the world didn't end. I hope you bought shares in local construction companies. I actually bought shares in CX. I bought shares in CX, and that was not a terrible thing to do. So let's CX.
No.
Oh, I misspelled Google. Great job, dumbass. Let's go finance.yahoo.com. Yep. So I bought in around about like a week after he was elected or so. So where am I? I bought it in somewhere in the high sevens. Yeah, I wish I had gotten it in the low sevens, but no such luck there. So right after he won, the peso declined, but then Mexican cement, because you need cement to build a wall. Anyway, Lewis, in terms of money made by board repairs right now, who's earning more for the biz, you or Jason? Jason. Jason. Probably Jason. I mean, I'm not sure if you would count Amazon revenue or YouTube revenue or any of that stuff in there. If you do, then maybe it changes, but okay, so I got my nice hot board. Okay. Ready? I was tempted to donate to you, but then I just fixed my old Sony phone instead. Good. That is the point. Education, not aggrandizement. Aggrandizement is not the point. I'm glad you fixed something. All right. Okay. This is the fun part. This is the fun part. Oh, I forgot to remove this strip on the bottom. I'll show you what that is in a second. This piece of shit right here. Please come off in one piece. Come off in one piece. Here we go. Alrighty. Now we can flux the bottom. I actually had luck doing this on a Retina that had corroded RAM the other day, so let's get... Last 17-inch MacBook Pro. Screen is flickering. Bad screen, bad graphics chip, which it was put into an extended warranty for. What do you think about the Razer Blade? I think it's a piece of shit. It has that failing MOSFET. There's one guy on my channel, PB Henry, who actually figured out which MOSFET fails and what to replace it with so it doesn't fail. And I really do want to cover that in a video because I know it hurts a lot of people. I asked him if he would come on for a live stream. If you're watching this, PB Henry, that offer extends. You deserve credit for figuring out that flaw. Okay, now I'm done scrolling through chat, so I can start. I can get to work. Here we go, baby. I'm buying an FX888 to get started in micro soldering is the correct choice. I would go with an FM201 or 202 first, to be honest with you. I mean the FM202 because you can power tweezers from it, and it's also just a much better station. If you're on a budget, buy a used FM202. You a fan of motorsports? No. Not at all. Not that there's anything wrong if somebody else is, but it's not very particularly interesting to me. Are you grounded, Lewis? My therapist says I am. Alright, so we're gonna go and... This is fun. Okay, one down. 15 to fucking go. 2 down. 14 to go. Maybe the person wasn't lying when they said they dropped it. They dropped it into a pile of liquidy shit, and that's why. So it's corrosion plus broken solder balls. Yeah, I lost count, but I'm on the bottom row going right to left, so not that hard. Okay. Now this is the one that had the liquid on it, remember? She was either this one or the one all the way on the left. Shit. It was the one all the way on the right row or the left row. We're gonna go over all of them. Let's make this board great again. Let's make it great again, not beep again. If I fuck it up, this will be the board that we made beep again. Now the whole idea is once you think you've melted it, is see how I'm moving? I'm yawing the air back and forth. That allows the chip to dance, and it's the dancing of the chip that confirms that every ball is melted, including the center ones. Because the outer balls usually melt first. It can't be great because it was never good to begin with. No, this is a MacBook. This MacBook comes from back in the olden days where they actually used to tell you how much battery was, how much time was remaining on the battery. Back before they, You know that kid in high school that used to tie their sweater around their pants because they thought that their ass was big and they were self-conscious? Like, Apple has kind of become that person that ties their sweater around their pants so you can't see the size of their ass. Like, seriously, with the new operating system, why are you taking away people's ability to know how much time they have left remaining on the battery? Like, what do you... Oh, it's too complicated. The code, it's not something we're just able to calculate with how complicated modern processes and software are. We're able to do that for the past 10 fucking years, right? What are you trying to hide? We all know what's under the sweater. And honestly, it's not even going to bother us. You know, people are still going to buy it. Same thing with the person that used to wear the sweater. Remember that line in that, there was this Julia Roberts movie, Pray, Eat, Live, Eat, Pray, Live, Eat, Pray, Love, Eat, Pray, some shit like that. Where they're talking about muffin tops, right? And at some point in the movie, this woman is so concerned, like, oh my God, I gained 2 pounds, how terrible. And she makes this point, like, when was the last time that when you were naked, a guy ran away, not in the beginning, but at the point that you got naked, and is like, yeah, you know what, you're naked and you want to have sex with me, but I'm not really interested. Like, when was the last time that happened? Never! Like, when was the last time somebody who was a fan of Apple said, you know what, I love Apple products, but you told me I'm holding the phone wrong, so I'm never going to buy an Apple product again. Or, I love Apple products, but you had a problem with the Touch IC, so I'm never going to buy an Apple product again. I love Apple products, but you're selling a dual core for $1,700 and calling it Pro, so I'm not buying yours. Like, no, they're going to buy it anyway. Just let people know what the fucking battery life is. It doesn't matter. You could sell the shit with half an hour battery life. People are still going to buy it. It doesn't matter. I don't know where that rant came from, but... Time is never accurate. It never is, but you might as well leave it in. Makes people feel good. Let people have their illusions. I've got some hot, steamy flux on my hands now. Alright, so now we've got a nice clusterfuck of a board. It's nice and fluxed. It's nice and fluxed up. But this is kind of nasty looking, and I really don't want to try it in this right now, so we're going to toss it through the cleaner. Because it did have liquid on it at some point. I'm going to toss it through the cleaner and see how it goes at that point. That's some ASMR from my Crest CP500D. I think that's what I'm going to do to advertise that we sell these now. I'm going to release a couple of long-form videos that are 1 hour long of ultrasonic cleaning rolls. Eh? What do you think? Good idea? Some beautiful ASMR. Lewis, I have the opportunity to move my office out of Staten Island. Where do you recommend I move in the tri-state area? What do you do? What business are you engaged in? How do you get customers? I know I'm answering a question with a question, but that stuff is important. Let's see. Make chat great again. What are your thoughts and opinions on the Google Pixel phone? I have no experience with it. I love my Motorola far too much to cheat on it. The Moto G. It's under $200. It's fucking unbreakable, and it always works. Reason you're going to the bottom row again. There were 2 rows of RAM on the bottom. There were 2 top rows and 2 bottom rows. I heard they will pass the right to repair bill in New York and a few other states. They haven't passed it. It's introduced, and it's been introduced for a long time. I went to lobby for that at the Senate in Albany in May 2015. So again, I'll be excited when it passes, and I do plan on going again this year. I'm definitely going again this year. I have an old Dell Latitude E6500. I'd like to upgrade it. How do I change the CPU and GPU? If it's socketed, you buy a new one. If it is not socketed, then don't bother. Why did you reflow everything? Well, they said that they dropped it, which means there could be a cracked solder ball. And then when we opened it, we saw liquid underneath the upper right chip, which means that a ball could have been corroded or shorted. So the flux and the heat is going to clear away the corrosion, and reflowing the ball is going to fix it if it's cracked. Office location does not make a difference. It's mostly a warehouse. I'm just looking for a good town or city that isn't Staten Island. It's funny that you bring that up. Yeah. Yeah. I was actually looking at houses in Staten Island because I want to move out of New York, but I need a place to live in New York just for when I have to come to work or when I want to check on things at work. So I wanted a place nearby that I wasn't paying rent on because rent is, disgusting. Like, I could justify owning 2 homes. I can't justify owning a home and renting an apartment. That's just pissing money away. Because at least once my lease is up and I don't have a business here anymore, I could just move away. In the tri-state area, I mean, a lot of people say that they like New Jersey. But if the thing is, if you have a business that doesn't need to be in New York, I mean, why do you want to be in the tri-state area at all? Like, I have a store here, so I have to be in New York. But if you don't have to be in New York, what I would suggest is get the fuck out of New York. Like, there's North Carolina has nice areas, a lot of nice areas. Wisconsin has a lot of nice areas. I mean, Kansas has a lot of... I mean, there's almost every part of the United States is nice besides New York. Almost all of it has a lot of nice stuff about it. But yeah, I was looking at a house in Staten Island because with the express bus, it would take me less than an hour to get to work, and they have some of those dirt cheap, those shitty foreclosed homes. Like, they're not great looking, but it's decent enough since I don't spend time at home anyway, for like $300K. And then I wouldn't have to pay rent anymore because I got a notice today that my rent had went up, which it's one of those funny things with housing. You pay more every year, you get the same shitty space. And I had always said once my rent goes up to $2,000 or above, that I'm out of here. And I'm 1 year away from my apartment being a full $2,000 or above. And at that point, I got to get out of here. But I don't want to go back to Staten Island. I don't want to, because Staten Island is just, Like, what do you not like about Staten Island? I'm curious if we both don't like the same things about Staten Island. It's just, when I lived there, the people in Staten Island were a certain way, and the people in the entire rest of the world were a different way. And I don't know if it's something that you could quite explain unless you're talking to somebody who does business or lives in Staten Island. My desk is full of flux. Ugh. Gross. Okay, time to dry the board. Somebody asked if Apple offered you a job, would you take it? Probably not. The thing that made Apple special, if you really read about it, it wasn't like the quality of the product or what made Apple special was the fact that everybody had this idea when Steve Jobs was there that there's no such, you don't get to say, this is not my job or that's not my department. Everybody worked together towards producing an end product that was amazing, which is the opposite of some companies like Palm or some of the Xerox stuff from what I read. And that's kind of gone now that Tim Cook is the head of the company rather than Steve Jobs. And that's what makes a really good company culture, this idea that everybody is working together to contribute ideas, everybody's working together towards a single end goal. And I mean, once you have your own business and you start doing something for yourself, it's really hard to go back into that job culture of working for a big company with the whole, where you don't have independence and you have to deal with people that say stuff like, that's not my job or not my department. Nah, it sucks. Independence is fun. I really don't know what Apple would offer me. I also am not qualified to work there to begin with, so what the hell would I do for Apple? Okay. We have to wait for the board to dry. Lewis, fix something. I just did. I'm waiting for the board to dry. I'm not going to put electricity through my balls until they're dry. It's mean. Where's your JBC solder station? Jason has it. He deserves it. If I break up my relationship and I bring you my girl, you can't fix it. Will you put her in the cell window? Can we split 50-50? See a counselor. Seek counseling. Why do you want to break up your relationship? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is ultrasonicing the flux off a non-liquid damage board? Not incredibly important. Like, there are some fluxes that may become corrosive over time or may become conductive or may fuck things up. It's the Amtech stuff, the NC559 V2TF is never going to do that. You really don't have to worry about that with this flux. And you can read up on the properties of it if you don't believe me. But it's just a professional thing to do. I know I'm not usually a fan of the word professional, but the only time I don't ultrasonic the flux off the board is when somebody's in a ridiculous hurry and they're calling every day and they're being a dick, and it's like, well, I have to clean it and dry it, or I could put it back together so you stop calling and being a dick, in which case it goes back with flux. But most of the time I do like cleaning it. It's the right thing to do. No quick 861DW yet? It's been a long time. I wanted to review that station. Now I have to file a chargeback on it. I know, it sucks. My girlfriend is getting married tomorrow, my life becoming a tragedy. Huh? That's a sad way to look at it. Would Jason take over New York office if he moved to California? Who the hell knows? If Jason did take over, we'd finally have somebody competent working at the New York office. The new Razer Blade Pro or the new Razer Blade? How about neither of them until they openly acknowledge the fucked up MOSFET on the machine they released 1 or 2 years ago, and stop telling people that are out of warranty, ridiculous rates to fix it? How about that? How about we start holding companies accountable that release shit that is high-end, high-priced, designed in a manner where it fails by not buying their stuff? I think that's a great thing to do. So, thumbs down on Razer. When Razer acknowledges the defect with their product, that PB Henry, a weightlifting guy on YouTube who watches these videos, managed to figure out in the comfort of his own home, when the multi-million-dollar company can figure out what he figured out and actually start fixing it for people, I'll say great for Razer. Until then, nah. What if you put your hand in the ultrasonic cleaner when it's running? You ever watch Aladdin the cartoon? Remember Mosenrath? Let's see if you can even find that on Google image search. It's something like this. So this guy put his hand in the ultrasonic cleaner. See? He had a glove that made him powerful, gave him the power of a genie or something. But the glove eats away at his hand. Yeah, if you put your hand in the ultrasonic at 80 Celsius with Branson EC, you're probably going to end up like this guy. Lewis, you could do customer relations for tech companies. You must be kidding. Customer relations? I mean, I have a full-time person here that's hired just so that I don't have to talk to people. That's the bad idea. Run for president. No, that's the worst job on earth. No matter what you do, hundreds of millions of people will hate you. F that. Alright. Is your cock on? Fuck. My cock is off. There we go. I like it when my cock is blue and red the most. It's the most natural color. I thought the right to repair bill was dead. The hell it is. So was the issue a broken connection under RAM? We'll find out soon. Still drying off the board. Still drying. Okay, we put it through the air filter. Now, after the alcohol. Now, after that, it goes in the oven for a little bit at 250 Fahrenheit to dry off the alcohol and any water that may be remaining on it. And then we go from there. Lewis, is that a Weller station? This is a Weller. If so, why aren't you using it? I use this every day. I love my WHA 900. It's awesome. What do you use for schematics? The internet. Where can I get the paperwork to submit to my local government for the right to repair stuff? If you go to repair.org, I'm sure they have information there. Hopefully they do. Can I send a broken MacBook from Romania to repair? You shouldn't. It's going to get lost in customs, and then you're going to be disappointed and hate me. I would try to find somebody local. It's most likely going to get lost in shipping or damaged in shipping, and then you're going to hate me. Let's see. New HP laptop keeps shutting down randomly after 10 seconds or 2 minutes. What do I do? It's an HP, so I would just... It is an HP. I mean, for this is... It deserves much worse than this, but if it's new, warranty. If it's not new, I mean... Hand and ultrasonic cleaner helps remove dirt and clean out pores, thus giving you soft and very clean hands. No more manicures, just buy an ultrasonic cleaner. Bonus micro massage. You need a job as a salesperson for an ultrasonic cleaner? Because I did start selling them recently. I did start selling ultrasonic cleaners. Compared today the Fluxu selling Amtech to Jovi Systems Amtech 1. I'm not surprised. I know somebody who got one of their soldering irons and they were very disappointed in it. Stop playing with your cock. I'm not playing with my cock. I'm playing with my stick. I wish my cock were this hard. If I had a cock of titanium, my Friday night would be a lot more interesting. Lewis, I see your point on whether or not someone should buy a Razer laptop, but just like Samsung's note bomb, that doesn't mean we should lose faith in some of the best companies. So this is the thing, because people will ask me, why don't you shit on Samsung as much as you do on other companies? What did Samsung do with the note bomb? I mean, they recalled it before they were asked to, before they were sued, before it got to a chance where it blew up. Okay, bad analogy. Before it got to a point where people were incredibly irritated and suing and everything, they took accountability and responsibility for it. Did Razer ever take accountability or responsibility for their MOSFET failure? No. No. No, I'm not the biggest Samsung fan. Their phones have that crappy interface on top of them. They get slower over time, much worse than the other Android phones that I've used. I don't see any particular reason to like them that much. They took out the SD card recently, but even though they put it back in, they took it out at one point. That's what counts. They liquid-proofed the S5 and then unliquid-proofed the S6. That's just such a dick thing to do. But I'm not a big fan of Samsung, but at the very least, when they totally destroy something, they kind of try to make it up to people. If you're still alive, if the phone did not blow up your head, then you can trade it in. Did you use Wix or Squarespace for your website? No, I did it the old-fashioned way. I went to freelancer.com and paid somebody from another country to do it. My website was done the old-fashioned way. Okay, let's see if my board is dry yet. I dislike Samsung. Everything you say is true, slower and slower by the time. Yeah, that's what pisses me off the most with Samsung phones. And there's always try another ROM, deox it, do this, do that. It's like, I don't want to pay $600 and have to have my phone be a science experiment. When I can buy a phone for $200 that just works out of the box, I don't want my $600 phone to be a science experiment. Okay, it's pretty dry. Now I just got to cool it off because I'm not going to try to turn it on while it's 300, 250 degrees. Going to put it in the trusty professional HEPA air filter that it hangs out of very professionally to cool off and dry. And then we're going to plug it in and see if it still beeps. Hopefully it doesn't beep. Has anyone from Apple ever called you to try and poach an employee? No, that never happened, but I did call this other company pretending to be an Apple employee to try and poach someone from a neighboring business who's really good at doing long screw damage and micro soldering. Yeah. Yeah, so I've never gotten a call from Apple where they tried to poach an employee, but I have called other companies, Jessa, pretending to work for Apple, Jessa, pretending to be a recruiter for Apple, to steal people who are really good at doing long screw damage. No, I'm kidding, but what the hell would Apple want with any of us? Look, Jess is here. All right. Are you still using the Zebra ZP450? I have a Zebra ZP505 that I got for free from FedEx. When you're doing more than $12,000 or $30,000 of shipping a month, FedEx will give you a free printer. How kind of them. How kind and Christian of them. Oh, what a nice group of people. I bet they probably don't feel great about that now since the company that I was doing all that shipping with failed, but I still have my free printer. I'm kind of insulted that people from Apple only want to steal employees from other companies and not mine. A little bit insulted. Like what? People here aren't good enough? Come on. All right. I have confidence. You're not going to beep, are you? Because if you beep, then that would mean that this was all for nothing. You wouldn't beep, would you? You're going to turn on and go, dong. I want to hear a nice long dong. Can LVDS connector be resoldered on other side? Don't do that. Just replace the screen. I know it's not the answer you want, but just replace the screen. And yes, just for the fuck of it on a slow day, Jason actually replaced the connector. If something happened that was bad enough to burn the connector on the screen side, your screen is probably fucked. You can try. You can always try, I suppose. But what? RAM fixed. Look at that. I should show you what it looks like, I suppose. I didn't show you what it looked like after the ultrasonic cleaner. I should show you what it looks like. I am selling ultrasonic cleaners now, after all, and I'm being a terrible salesperson by not showing you how awesome this is at cleaning. Because if this ultrasonic cleaner can clean up the amount of flux that I put on a board, then it can clean up anything. Okay, so let's see. How did the crest do at cleaning up my braziers? Let's look at the RAM. Okay, so remember the one that was corroded? It was either here or here, I forget. But there's no liquid on that one anymore. This is the piece of glue that I ripped off on the bottom. That's the QR code sticker for something that I burned and sodomized with the hot air. But the RAM itself is actually looking pretty good. Pretty sexy, right? Lewis, why don't you and Jessica compete to see who can get banned from Apple web support quicker? We've talked about this. Posting on the... it would be... You know what? It would kind of be fun to actually live stream that and see if I get banned during the live stream. If Jessa and I both had live streams at the same time going, I actually want to sign up and do that. I think that would be a fun event. We just have to make time for it is all. And I have to choose a couple of questions and I have to have some answers ready. It has to be good questions too. Because most of the questions on that forum are boring. It's like, that's just, I use iLife and this feature's not working, yawn. We got to find good questions ahead of time. It would be work, but I think it would be fun. Jessa already got banned like 6 months ago, so... That desk has reached end of life. What? This desk is beautiful. This desk... Oh, okay. Maybe not that part of the desk, but like this... Wait, maybe not this part of the desk, but this... Maybe... Okay, I know I have to have at least a 10, like a 5mm by 5mm section of this desk that's not destroyed. Somewhere. Let's see. Back here, maybe? Yeah, look, that's not a nice grain. That's not destroyed. But then, yeah, this desk has seen better days. Yeah, that's disgusting. Looks like a potato chip, doesn't it? I kind of want to make this my desktop wallpaper. Here, watch as we go back and forth, all right? So we're going to go with the focus. We're going to go back and forth. And just follow where the focus is. Left, right. Left, right. But yeah. Looking good. We did our job. How will you repair the new 2016 MacBook Pro which doesn't have the chirp? Are you kidding? The new MacBook... Are you saying that the new one doesn't do a dong? You gotta be kidding. Tell me the new MacBook doesn't dong. They took away the fan spin, they took away the white light, and they took away the dong. They've taken away everything. Game Boy Genius has a hashtag called Bang Grandma. What? You're a mod. I expect better from you than this. Hashtag Bang Grandma. The fuck? Game Boy. Alright, so this is good. That was a happy surprise. This is a very happy surprise. Oh. Oh, ban grandma. Whoops. Shows what's on my mind. Let's see. Finally, been at least a week since we've seen fan spin. Well, here we started with fan spin. Just beeping fan spin. Oh, man. Yeah, ban grandma. I get it. I get it. I get it. 1G. Okay, okay. 1G. I'm going to put the chat on the good monitor. Here. It's on the shit monitor. That's my excuse. I'm using the crappy monitor for chat. It's blurry. It's blurry. It would kind of be interesting if we could get iPad rehab and bang grandma as a trending hashtag on Twitter, though. I think that would be kind of funny. A little bit funny. Maybe not. Maybe so. Next board, please. Oh, we're done. I'm out of stuff that's fixable. All we have left is stuff that sucks. Jacobson says, let's all tweet bang grandma. Hey, you know what? Yeah. I think we'll end the stream on a high note. So thank you all for watching. As always, I hope you learned something. If you want to buy anything on Amazon, or if you have bought something on Amazon using the links below, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. See you in the next stream.